Hello, this is Wmpyr here to share with you my first impressions of this wild anime that I saw called Record of Ragnarok. Okay, so it's humans versus gods, and these humans are historical people that really existed facing up against gods to determine the fate of humanity. And essentially, it is like a super fight format where we're having these famous people and famous gods go up against each other, as if, honestly, watching like Pride back in the day, Pride Fighting Championships, which was a huge spectacle of a MMA event back in Japan in a couple of years back. And it was, to me, reminded me a lot of that. Of course, this is anime, so it's going to be way more blown out of proportion. You're going to see superhero type of stuff, inhuman, crazy stuff, but that is expected from a crazy anime like this. Okay, so the first match is Lubu versus Thor. And, the fact that they picked Thor, right? Thor is, this sets the stage. Because at first I'm going, how is a human able to go up against God, period? And they show you that the Valkyries help them out, help out the humans, so to even the field, right? Okay, so now we're having superhuman battles. It's almost like superhero versus superhero kind of thing. And granted, the gods are toned down to superhero level. So it's kind of like watching a Marvel or DC fight in that sense. But Thor shows up. The guy looks like freaking a supermodel from, like, I don't know, Final Fantasy or something like that. And while he does have like almost like a god-like, like you'd imagine a god would be like very expressionless, not emotional like humans. He does have that for sure, but watching this battle, I got the sense more of like he's this crazy warrior is what you get out of it, especially compared to Poseidon. And so anyway, Thor is this unstoppable warrior, and his Mjolnir is this massive hammer. And pretty much what I expected, as awesome as Lubu was, he just didn't hold the candle to Thor. However, I will have to say that he did take Thor, pushed him enough that the Mjolnir had to change. It took like, it almost like broke or something, and it had to take like a new form. So it pushed him that far, but it just kind of pretty much what I expected. Thor showed dominance, absolutely. It was amazing that Lubu went as far as he did, and yeah, so it was still like this match set the tone. Okay, so you go, okay, now I think I know what I'm getting into, because honestly, I just thought it would just been a massacre. Now, Thor wielding his hammer, the Mjolnir, I thought it was really cool how he spun it around and he threw it, right? Or did he just throw it? He just threw it, and the hammer's spinning, and it comes back to gain momentum so that he could hit harder. That idea is something that we do in Escrima, where we're building momentum with the stick in order to strike. And so that I could relate to. So I was like, oh, cool. It's nice to see that here. But other than that, the Thor, the way he fought was pretty one-dimensional. It was just, I smash you with my hammer kind of thing. But I thought it was cool that they added that extra technical detail there. So now let's move to the second match, Adam versus Zeus. And yeah, that was something I didn't expect Adam, B, did not expect Zeus, okay? And then Adam shows up and you're going, man, this dude's going to get annihilated. And then Zeus shows up, and it's like, really? Zeus already? Like, this is like final boss material. Not to say that Thor wasn't. Thor was a great choice. If you serious about winning, you think he's like one of the top gods. So they bring out Thor, and he's a warrior, perfect. And then they bring out Zeus. I was just like, wow. And yeah, definitely final boss material. But then Zeus is kind of like reminded me so much of Roshi in Dragon Ball. To me, it was just like an amped up version of Roshi. And then when he took his final form, it reminded me of Majin Buu. So very Dragon Ball like in a sense. And I mean, they basically fist fought these two, Adam and Zeus. And Adam was so incredibly powerful. And I really, it should have been a massacre, right? Zeus would have whipped him. But instead, what we saw was the one thing in the Bible where they say, what humans or Adam was made in image of God. So meaning they took that literally, as in Adam is basically almost as powerful as God kind of thing. And it was just wild to see that Adam had that ability. And I guess somewhere along the lines we totally lost it, humanity, because we're all, let's say, if we are his descendants, that we totally not even close. But this Adam was incredibly powerful, took Zeus to the limit that they both were like on. It could have gone either way, and of course Zeus comes out on top. But incredible match by Adam, and that's when I really thought he was going to win. I really did. So that was a surprise right there. Yeah, so Zeus, of course, he was just like a guy who was just like, I like to fight. And he wasn't, I don't know if he was necessarily trying to win as much. It was more like he enjoyed the fight and he was there to fight. Of course, he was trying to win as in fighting, but was he trying to win strategically? Or I didn't really, it's just he likes to fight and he's trying to win by fighting. That's what I saw of Zeus. He's just like almost like a childlike character. So match 3, the fact that they picked Sasaki Kojiro is great. Normally, I mean 100% out of 100% of the time they're going to pick Musashi, but instead they picked Kojiro. This is an interesting choice. The guy that lost to Musashi, historically legendary. They chose him rather than picking Musashi, the greatest swordsman from Japan ever. They picked Kojiro instead, the guy that lost. So that was a very, very interesting choice. And they put him up against Poseidon. Now, out of the 3, Zeus, Poseidon, and Thor, I felt like easily Poseidon was the most god-like, that how he looked down upon humans. He behaved more like how you would expect a god would behave, and therefore he was unlikable. and when Kojiro was fighting him, and Kojiro kept feeling like he was like falling into the deep, vast, endless abyss of the ocean that Poseidon was lord of, and he just kept getting dragged down and going, how deep does it go? Yeah, that was an awesome scene for me. You could almost feel it. You could just feel how powerful Poseidon was. So I really enjoyed that. Easily out of the 5 matches that is available on Netflix right now, I would say that this was my favorite one. Primarily because of Sasaki Kojiro. I do like Poseidon, but Kojiro being, how do you call it, it was most martial arts like for me, this match, compared to the other matches. In this one where they said Kojiro kept getting stronger by losing, I could really, really relate to that because in my training, I was doing that. So back in the day when I was doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I remember going after all the best guys in my class. And brown belts. There weren't that many black belts, but if I got the chance to roll with a black belt, I would. But the brown belts were the highest ones, so I kept going after brown belts. So they call me brown belt hunter. I think the people thought that I was trying to win against these people, and that's not what I was trying to do. I was trying to lose against these people, and what I meant by that is I knew I was going to lose, so I wasn't trying to win. I just wanted to see how. So these guys were so good. Their levels were way above me, so above me that I knew they could beat me like in 5 seconds. I just wanted to see how they did it. And at first it's so fast that I don't even know, and I'm tapping all of a sudden, right? And then I got to the point where I can start to see the setup. And that is how I felt like I'm going to get good. Now, the people that I could beat, like that I'm much better, those people, in a sense, I wasn't interested in. But what I did, because I want to milk and make sure that all the practice I'm getting is good practice and helping me, is what I did is against the people that I knew I was better at, I would let them attack me. And I would just work on my defense that way. And if I was able to counter and get an offensive position, then I would imagine that I would lose it and then try to gain it back or try to keep control. So I would work on defensive stuff against the people that were just not at my level. So anyway, that kind of mentality I felt from this match, where they said Kojiro just kept losing, and he became the greatest loser in that sense. But because of that, his skill just kept going upgrade, 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 upgrade. And so I kind of felt like I was doing something similar in that sense. And also in the beginning of the fight, when Kojiro went up against Poseidon, there was a scene where he already, like, in his mind, and they also showed this in Grappler Baki, where he had thought of all these different ways to attack, and it was unsuccessful. I literally experienced that in a match, in a challenge match, where I was facing this Taekwondo prodigy, and I could not go in because literally I felt like, and this was in the match, and I felt like a ghost leg come out and hit me, and I was like, oh, I can't go there. What if I went this way? And then another ghost leg would come out. I was like, oh, I can't do that, and I can't do this. It's like, I can't do anything. This guy's too good. It was just his aura, and I felt like I saw my own demise in that sense. So in that match, I had to completely change strategy and styles. But anyway, so this match I felt like was the most martial arts like, and it's the one that I felt like I could relate to the most. Match number 4 is crazy. It's Jack the Ripper versus Hercules. The fact that they chose Jack the Ripper, this opens doors for so much, because now they could have picked Dracula. I'm so excited now. It's not just like the heroes and the warriors. Now they got like serial killers and stuff. I was so excited that they chose Jack the Ripper. How fascinating, how interesting. Hercules, out of the gods that we saw compared to Thor, Zeus, and Poseidon, honestly, Hercules was the weakest, and he should be. He should be the weakest out of those guys, because in this story, he is a human that becomes a god. In the original mythology, he was a demigod, right? He was the son of Zeus and a human, if I'm not mistaken. So either way, he's not full-blown God. It's a little bit different from, Thor, Zeus, and Poseidon, if I'm not mistaken. So, him being, I felt like he was a little weaker, and that was all right. Jack the Ripper, on the other hand, the way that he fought was he won by strategy. And to me, that was super appealing, because that is the way that that I would like to fight personally. I don't want to win by my strength or any kind of physical attribute or my skill. I want to win by strategy. And that to me was impressive, very, very impressive to see that. And just the fact that he's such a dark character, how cool is that? Anyway, the 5th match is Shiva versus Ryden. Honestly, Ryden is a Japanese sumo wrestler, legendary sumo wrestler, and from back way back when, in the, like, I don't know if it was back in the birth of sumo times, but seeing this legendary character, super exciting to see sumo, especially since I just finished the excellent live action TV show Sanctuary on Netflix. Seeing a sumo, any sumo stuff gets me yes, that's so cool. But in all honesty, this is the second Japanese competitor in this match so far. So I kind of wish that they had picked a different, and not to be like racially equal. No, not because of that. I wish they had picked maybe someone like from Africa or something, just because I want variety. They already had Kojiro in there, and to pick another Japanese uh, fighter competitor in there, it just for me felt like, well, it's because it's a Japanese TV show. The creators are Japanese. That's why. To me, that was the only reason why. And I would have preferred a different, because I like variety. Actually, with the gods that fought, I definitely did not like that it was Zeus, Poseidon, Hercules. Those are three Greek gods in a row. And yeah, that now I understand that Poseidon, one of them lost, therefore they want revenge, so that's why a Greek god goes again. I get that, but I really, that was a little bit upsetting. We got to see, Norse god and then a Greek god. I wanted to see a different, so, but having a freaking Shiva here, God from India, that was so freaking cool. In fact, he was supposed to fight Adam, which I think would have been a great match because they're basically both boxing, right? Except Adam had the brass knuckles, and Shiva had forearms. For boxing, that would have been a great match. But instead, we had Zeus come in, and Zeus fought Adam. Right at that point, I remember thinking, I want to see Shiva fight. Shiva looks awesome. The character design is super cool. I really like the way he looks. He has that, the third eye up here, and then he has two more eyes down here. The third eye, he has it right there, and he likes to headbutt. That kind of didn't make sense to me. Why would you headbutt with that eye? It's like, dude, that seems really bad, like a bad idea. But that being said, just the way his design, aesthetic design, Shiva looks mega awesome. I like the way he fights. I like that he's kind of like doesn't care, and he's just like, let's brawl, and obviously he's good at it because he has four arms. So this was as close as possible to an MMA match out of all of these. So this fifth match, Shiva versus Ryden, was definitely like an MMA match on steroids, and or a nuclear MMA match, should I say. And I'm glad that it was Ryden in a way, because you're talking about a sumo wrestler, someone that is going to go, without weapons, is not going to be using power, like these power moves or something like that. So I like that head-on battle that they did. And I really liked the way Shiva fought. And then when he started doing the dance and caught on fire and super, super cool. It just made me go, dude, this is the Lord of Destruction. You don't mess with the Lord of Destruction. Easily in last boss class power for me. I felt like Shiva, Zeus. I mean, those are like last boss, Poseidon. They're top dogs of the god realms, and to get to see him fight was very, very cool stuff. So anyway, I can't wait to see more of this. But on Netflix so far, this is all they had. Super excited to see more. That's it for now. Thank you for viewing, and take care, folks.